Remember in class when I told you that you are going to be solving equations? Now notice how they all have equal signs. If there's an equal sign, that means you have to solve them. You solve equations by doing the opposite operation to what is happening to my variable. So if you recall from last year, the opposite of a plus or adding is subtracting. The opposite of a multiplying is dividing. The opposite of squaring a number is square rooting a number. And the opposite of cubing a number is going to be cube rooting a number. Okay, so if we take a look at this equation, my variable is being squared. So in order to eliminate the square, I am going to square root both sides. Now this is my work and I want to make sure that I show that. Notice how I have a fraction on the opposite side. I have to square root both the top number and the bottom number in order to get my answer. A is going to equal the positive and negative, and then we put it into our calculator. We hit second. I'm going to do the square root of 361 first. So second x squared 361 is equal to 19. That's my numerator over my denominator, which is the square root of 441. So second x squared 441 is equal to 21. Remember, when you're square rooting in order to solve, you have to account for both the positive and negative of the answer. This symbol only occurs when you're solving with an equal sign and you're square rooting. You do not put that sign when you're cube rooting. Okay? So let's take a look at our next example. The square root of x squared is equal to 676. I need to solve this because there is an equal sign. The exponent is 2, which means I have to square root both sides. My variable drops down, is equal to the positive and negative, and now I type it in my calculator. Second x squared 676 equals 26. Okay. Notice how these examples down below, the exponent is a 3. Please make sure that you account for that 3 because the opposite of cubing something is cube rooting it. So in order to get this y by itself, I have to cube root both sides. However, note that it's a fraction, so you have to cube root the top number as well as the bottom number. The cube root and the cube cancel each other out, and I get y is equal to, I put the cube root of 27 in my calculator first. 3 second caret 27 gives me 3. My denominator is going to be the cube root of 3,375. 3 second caret 3,375. 15. And if you want to simplify it, you could divide 3 into both a numerator and the denominator and get 1/5. So y is equal to 1/5 would be my final answer. The cube root, when you cube root to solve, you do not need the plus and minus. Your answer is the way that it looks. And then in my last example, it's g cubed is equal to 2,744. There's an equal sign. My exponent is 3, so I am going to cube root both sides in order to undo that exponent. And I get down g is equal to, and then we type that into our calculator, 3 second caret 2,744. And we get 14.